subaerial modification. And subaerial modification of the stem, the plants with weak stemmed, these also having the plants with weak stem in which branches lie horizontally on the ground. The branch lies horizontal on the ground. These are meant for vegetative propagation. It produces the next generation. They may be subaerial or partially subterranean. Subaerial modification. The subaerial modification is again classified into runner, stolen, sucker, offset. The first is a runner. This is a slender. They are slender, prostrate, but spread on the ground. Branch creeping. The branches are creeping on the ground and rooting at nodes. On the nodal region, it produces adventitious roots. Example, centella, oxalis, lawn grass are some of the example for the runners. So the runners are slender, prostrate, branching creepers on the ground and rooting at the nodes. When we cut the runner at any region, the daughter plant have the ability to, mother plant have the ability to develop into a new plant. Next is stolen. It is also a slender lateral branch originating from the base of the stem. It first grows obliquely above the ground. And produces a loop and bend down towards the ground. First it grows obliquely and bend down towards the ground. When it touches the ground, it produces roots and becomes an independent plantlet. When the bend region touches the ground, means it have the ability to grow into a new plantlet. Example, mentha, peppermint, Fragaria indica, strawberry. They are all the example for the stolen. They are also slender, lateral branches originating from the base of the stem. First it grows obliquely and above the ground and produces loop and bent down towards the ground. When it touches the ground, it have the ability to develop into an individual plantlet. The next is sucker. The suckers develops from the underground. The suckers develop from the underground region and grows obliquely towards the upwards and gives rise to a separate plantlet or new plantlet. Example, chrysanthemum, samanthi, and musa, banana, bambusa. They are the some of the example for sucker. And the next is offset. The offset is similar to runner but found in aquatic plant. They are seen in the water plant, especially in rosette leaved forms. A thick lateral branches arises from the lower axil and it grows horizontally leafless from a short distance. Then it produces a bunch of rosette leaves and the roots at nodes. It produces a bunch of leaves, the roots at a nodal region. Example, Eichhornia, water hyacinth, and Pistia, water lettuce are some of the example of the offset. So chrysanthemum is an example of the suckers. So the sucker develops from the underground stem and grows obliquely towards the soil or upward region and gives rise to a separate plantlets individual plantlet. Offset example is a chrysanthemum. The next is the underground stem modification. So the underground stem modification means the modification seen in the underground region below the soil. Perennial and some biennial herbs have underground stems which are gradually known as root stalks. So the perennial means it lives for many years, and some biennials it lives for 2 years. Plant have underground stem which are generally known as root stalks. The root stalks function as a storage and protective organ. It remains alive below the ground. During unfavorable condition. and again it produces growth during the favorable condition. The underground stems are not roots because they possess, it contains nodes, internodes, scaly leaves and bud. The root stalks also lack root caps and root hairs, but they possess terminal buds, which is the characteristic feature of the stem. The example for the underground stems are, that is the types of underground stems are pulp, rhizome, corn and tubers. First is a pulp. The pulp, it is a condensed conical or convex stem surrounded by fleshy scaly leaves. That is, example is onion and garlic. It is a condensed conical or convex stem surrounded by a fleshy scaly leaves. They are of two types. One is a tunicated. Tunicated means coated pulp, in which the stem is much reduced and surrounded by several concentric layers of scaly leaves. It contains several concentric ring like scaly leaves. The inner scale commonly fleshy. The inner scale is commonly fleshy, whereas the outer one is dry. Example, onion. These are of two types. One is a simple tunicated pulp. Example, allium cepa onion. Compound tunicated pulp. Example, allium sativum garlic. The scalic pulp, they are narrow, partially overlap each other by their margin. Example, tulipa species. The tulipa species is an example for scaly pulp. In scaly pulp, they are narrow, partially overlap each other by their margins only. The next is a corn. The corn, it is a succulent. It is succulent underground stem which is with an erect growing tip. The upper part is a erect growing tip. The corn is surrounded by scaly leaves. The corn is surrounded by scaly leaves and exhibit nodes and also internodes. Example, Amorphophilus, Gladolus, Colocasia, Crocus, Corsicum are some of the example for the corn kirangu. The next is a rhizome. Ginger is the best example for rhizome. It is also an underground stem, grows horizontally. It is also grows horizontally with several lateral growing tips. Rhizome possesses conspicuous nodes. A lot of nodes are present and internodes covered by scaly leaves. Example, Gingiber officinalis, Kenna, Kottavada, Curcuma langa, turmeric, Maranta, Nymphia, Nelumbu, lotus and lily. The last one is a tuber. The tuber, it is succulent underground spherical or globostem with many embedded axillary buds called eyes. That is eye of potato. Example, Solanum tuberosum, Helianthus tuberosus are some of the example of for a tubers kirangu. The next is a stem branching. The stem branching, the branching pattern is determined by the relative activity of apical meristem. The mode of arrangement of branches on a stem is known as a branching. The mode of arrangement of branch on the stem is called as a branching. There are two main type of branching. One is a lateral branching and dichotomous branching. Based on the growth pattern, stem may shows indeterminate or determinate growth. First is a indeterminate. The terminal bud grows uninterrupted and produces several lateral branches. This type of growth is also known as monopodial branching. That is, example is a Polyalthia. So the stem only the lateral bud produces, which is uninterrupted, and that in a single direction. The branches grown in a single direction, so it is called as a monopodial branching. Determinant, the terminal bud ceases to grow after a period of growth and the further growth is taken care by successive or several rattle meristem or buds. This type of growth is known as a symbodial branching. Example, cycas. The next is the leaf. The leaves are green, thin, flattened. The leaves are green, thin, flattened. Outgrowth of the stem, and they are exogenous. They are exogenous, seen outside in origin. They arises from the nodes of the stem. Where at present they are arises from the nodes of the stem and have a limited growth and limited lifespan. The leaves are the primary photosynthetic organ and the main site of transpiration. All the leaves of a plant together referred as a phylum. All the leaves of the plant is called as a phylum. The next characteristic feature of leaf. The leaf is a lateral appendage of the stem. It produces laterally, so it is a lateral appendage of the stem. It is born at the nodes of the stem. The leaves is seen at the node of the stem. It is exogenous in origin. It has limited growth. It does not possess apical bud. It has three main parts, namely leaf base, petiole and leaf lamina, or the three basic parts of the leaf. The leaf lamina is a transverse vascular stance called a veins. It contains a veins. The leaf lamina contains a vein. The vein is the skeletal network of the leaves. The next, primary function of the leaves. It is involved in photosynthesis, that is preparation of food, transpiration, the loss of water, gaseous exchange. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place with the help of the leaves, and it is also give protection to the bud. It gives protection to the buds, that is developing shoot system. Conduction of water and dissolved solids takes place with the help of leaves. The next, secondary function. The leaves also performing some of the secondary functions such as storage, protection, support, reproduction. Storage of food material. Example, algae, brassica, agave, or some of the leaves which have storage of food material. Protection. Example, Opuntia argemone mexicana. This plant contains spines, that is the leaves are modified into a spine. The spine is protect the plant from grazing of cattle. Some leaves are also give support to the plant. Example, Nepenthes and Gloriosa. Reproduction. The leaves are involving in the production of young ones. Example, Bryophyllum. The next, parts of the leaves. The leaf contains three important parts. One is the leaf base, hypopodium, and the petiole region, that is middle region. It is called as a mesopodium. Lamina, it is a epipodium. The first is a leaf base, hypopodium. The part of the leaf. The part of the leaf attached to the node of the stem is called as a leaf base. That is the leaf attached to the stem by means of a leaf base. Usually it protects growing buds at its axis. There are different types of leaf bases are there. That is pulvinous leaf. In pulvinous leaf base, it is seen in the leguminous pulses. The leaf base become broad and thick. The leaf base is broad and thick and swollen, which is known as a pulvinous leaf. The leaf base is thick and broad and swollen. It is called as a pulvinous leaf. Such type of leaves are seen in Clitoria, Lab, Casuarina. And sheathing leaf bases. The sheathing leaf bases are seen in monocots. such as Ericaceae, Musaceae, Zingiberaceae, Poaceae. They are grass family, banana family, bamboo family, and Cataceae family contains the sheathing leaf bases. The sheathing leaf bases, the leaf base extended into a sheath. It extended into a sheath and a clasp part or whole of the internode. It clasp over it, covers over the whole internode. Such a leaf bases also leave permanent scar. Sometimes these leaf bases, there is a marking is present in the presence of the leaf when they fall. Example, Ericaceae. In coconut, there is a scar is seen on the presence of the leaf. The next, petiole. The petiole is the central part of the leaf. So it is a bridge-like structure which connect the leaf and the stem. The petiole or leaf stalk is a cylindrical or subcylindrical or flattened structure of a leaf which joins the lamina with the stem. A leaf with petiole is called as a petiolate leaf. If the leaf possesses petiole is called as a petiolate leaf. Example, ficus, hibiscus, mangifera. The leaves which do not possess a petiole. If petiole is not seen, means such a leaf are called as a sessile leaf. Example, Calotropis gloriosa. The next structure is the most important structure of a leaf is a leaf lamina. The expanded flat green portion of the leaf is the leaf blade or leaf lamina. It is the seat of photosynthesis, exchange of gases, transpiration, and most of the metabolic activity of the plants are done in that part. The lamina is traversed by a midrib, that is vein, from which numerous lateral veins or arises, and thin lateral veins and thin veinlets or arises. The lamina shows greater variation in its shape, margin, surface, structure, color, venation and insertion. The different type of the plant possess different type of different shapes, different margins in their leaf lamina. The next is the stipules. So the stipules mostly seen in dicotyledonous plant. The leaf base bears one or two lateral appendages, a hair-like structure called the stipules. The leaves which contain stipules are called as a stipulate leaves. If the stipules are absent, means such leaves are called as a exstipulate or estipulate leaves. The stipules are commonly found in dicotyledons. In some grasses, an additional outgrowth is present between the leaf base and the lamina of the leaf. It is called as a ligule. They are mostly seen in grass family. Sometimes small stipule like outgrowths are found at the base of leaflets of a compound leaf. They are called stipules. The main function of the stipule is to give protection to the leaf in the bud condition. It protects the leaves when it is in the bud condition. The next is a venation. The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the leaf blade, that is leaf lamina region, is called as a venation. Internally, the vein contains vascular tissue, that is the xylem and phloem. So the venation is classified into two types, namely reticulate venation and parallel venation. Reticulate venation and parallel venation. So first is reticulate venation. In this type of venation, the leaf contains a permanent midrib. At the center, a permanent midrib from which several secondary veins arises that branches and anatomos like a network. They are mostly like a network of veinlets. This type of venation is called as a reticulate venation. They are the common feature of the dicotyledonous leaves. The reticulate venation is again classified into two types. One is a pinnately reticulate venation and palmately reticulate venation. The first is a pinnately reticulate venation. It is also called as unicastate reticulate venation. In this type of venation, there is only one midrib in the center which forms many lateral branches like a network. Example, Mangifera indica, Ficus bengaliensis, nerium leaf. Palmately reticulate venation, they are also called as multicastate reticulate venation. In this palmately reticulate venation, there are two or more principal veins arises from the single point. From a single point, many veins arises. They grow upward or outward. There are two type of palmately reticulate venation. One is a divergent type, another one is a convergent type. Divergent type and convergent type. In divergent type, when all the principal veins, all the main veins originated from the base and diverge and they are separated from one another towards the midrib. They separate one another towards the midrib of the vein, towards the margin of the leaves. Divergent type, when all the principal veins originate from the base and diverge from one another towards the margin of the leaf, as in cucurbita, cucumber. Convergent, when the veins they converge to the apex, when the veins converge to the apex region of the leaf, as in Indian plum. Example, jujubas, ilandanga, or bay leaf, cinnamonium, or some of the example for convergent, palmately reticulate convergent venation. The next parallel venation. In parallel venation, the veins which are run parallel and do not form a permanent reticulum, that is permanent midrib, are not present. It is the main characteristic feature of the monocot leaves. They are mainly occurs in the monocot leaves. It is also classified into two types: pinnately parallel venation, palmately parallel venation. So in pinnately parallel venation, there is a permanent midrib in the center. There is a permanent midrib in the center from which arises many veins which run perpendicularly and run parallelly to each other. Example, musa, banana, gingerbread, curcuma, canna. In this plant, the leaf possesses the pinnately parallel venation. The next is a palmately parallel venation. In this type, several veins arises from the tip of the petiole and they run parallel. The petiole, that is leaf stalk, from this tip there are several veins arises. They run parallel each other and united at the apex. It is also classified into two types. One is a divergent type, another one is a convergent type. In divergent type, all the principal veins originate from the base and diverge. From the base, they diverge towards the margin. The margin of the leaf as look like a fan. Example, Borasicus. Convergent type, all the principal veins run parallel to each other and form a base of the lamina and join at the apex, as in bamboo plant and rice, water hyacinth. In this plant, the leaf is a palmately parallel venation which shows divergent type. The next is a phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy. The mode of arrangement of leaves on the stem is known as a phyllotaxy. Phyllo means leaf, the taxis means arrangement. So in order to avoid overcrowding of the leaves and all the leaves are exposed to the sunlight to get maximum sunlight for photosynthesis, the plants arrange the leaves in such a manner to get the sunlight maximum amount. There are four type of phyllotaxies out there. One is alternate, opposite, ternate and whorled arrangement. First is alternate type of phyllotaxy. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, in this type, there is only one leaf on each node. Each node possesses only one leaves. The leaves are arranged successive nodes in alternate manner. The leaves are arranged alternatively in each node. This is called as alternate leaf arrangement or alternate phyllotaxy. The next is the opposite phyllotaxy. In opposite phyllotaxy, the leaves are arranged in opposite position. The leaves are arranged in a opposite manner. So each node is having two leaves. Each node is having two leaves. Such type of leaf arrangement is called as the opposite phyllotaxy. There are two type of opposite phyllotaxies are there. One is the opposite superposed, another one is the opposite decussate. In opposite superposed, the pair of leaves arranged in succession are in the same direction. That is, two opposite leaves at a node. It lies exactly above those at the lower node. So they are arranged exactly. They are look like as mirror images. Example, Goa. Opposite decussate. In this type of leaf arrangement, one pair of the leaf is placed at right angle to the next upper or lower pair of a leaf. Example, Calotropis. Ternate leaf arrangement. In ternate leaf arrangement, each node is having three leaves. Example, Nerium. In whorled arrangement. So in whorled arrangement, each nodes are having more than three leaves. The leaves are arranged in a whorl, like a layers at each nodes, forming a circle. Example, Alamanda. This is called as a phyllotaxy, that is arrangement of the leaves on the stem.